All right, everyone, welcome to Ignite session one. So we're getting started with Ignite. I love this one because one, if you're just starting with us, I want you to really pay attention to Ignite session one. I have a few Ignite sessions that are really, really key to realtor success. And I love the way Ignite's designed because this first session is all about how to get your mind right around your career, about what real estate looks like, and about all of the KW kind of pieces and offerings that we have. So we're going to spend a lot of time today kind of detailing resources that KW has to offer, kind of reiterating where to get them. We're also going to look at the 6 personal perspectives, and that's why I love this one so much. So through Ignite, what we're going to be looking at is one, becoming a real estate expert. So again, today is all about those resources that KW has, how to find them. I'm also going to show you some ancillary things that I found over my career that have helped me. And then we're going to get into lead generation. So the first couple of sessions in Ignite are all about becoming your real estate expert, sessions 1 through 4. Like I said, today's agenda, we're going to mindset, right? A new way of thinking has to be done. Most everybody that's coming into this real estate world, we are all kind of at a way of thinking, a way of being when we come here. And you'll see when we go through the 6 personal perspectives, what we call that is we're going from entrepreneurial to purposeful. So E to P. It's one of my favorites, and it all comes from this guy right here. We're gonna talk about the KW culture. We're not gonna spend a lot of time on it. Our fearless leader, Mark Charlemagne, he constantly goes through the KW culture and value system in our team meetings. So we'll kind of skip over some of the session 2, session 3. We'll get right into the resources and then finish out today's Ignite. Gary Keller, anyone can do it. Not everyone will you? So this one hits home for me. I know it sounds so simple, but I was told this a long time ago. Real estate is simple, not easy. I want to say that again. Real estate is simple, not easy. You see, what we do every single day and the reasons why you guys are gonna want to emulate and envy some of the top producers in our office. And I encourage you guys not to do that. The reason why they're at that place is because they got through this. The actual real estate that they do, the transactions that they do, the files that they do. And once you guys get your first couple of deals done, you'll start to realize what we do is pretty simple. Everything is pretty straightforward. We have contracts, we have documents, we have a compliance system. It's kind of like a fail-safe system. The key is up here in the lead generation part, and we'll hammer through that. Like I said, 6 personal perspectives. One sec, I'm going to shut my door real quick. Okay. 6 personal perspectives. So I want you guys to learn this. I want you guys to go through this. I know there's a lot of training when you guys get started, but again, the number one failure in real estate. Well, actually, we should go through that stat. So for everybody listening to this, everybody on here with me, the national statistics used to say that 80% of everybody that got their real estate license will be gone and fail out of real estate in the next 5 years. Now, some of that's self-discovery. They just realize real estate's not for them. And that's perfectly fine. Real estate is not going to be for everybody. But there's the other percentage of that population that's going to fail. One, because they didn't take enough initiative, or two, they didn't know how to find and see those resources, or 3, they didn't have the mentorship. So we have that in our program. And this 6 personal perspectives is absolutely something that I think everybody needs to go through. And you will start to see that the success is right there. It's in your hands because the job is easy. It's just tough mentally. So where do we find the 6 personal perspectives? We're going to go through a couple of them, but I want to show you guys where to find them. So at KW, we have a couple of different websites I want to share with you guys. We have mykw.kw.com. This is kind of what we call our KW intranet. It's our Keller Williams ecosystem intranet. You can pretty much get to every resource that KW has to offer through this intranet. As you can see, it's one of the favorites. It's one of my tabs that I saved from the beginning of time. You can look up pretty much everything, the white pages. You can look up our, so white pages are basically a phone book to find real estate agents information. So if you don't have a real estate agent's phone number, email information, you can look them up through the white pages. The other thing that you'll see up here is education. Once you click on that, it takes you straight over to our education platform, or KW Connect. All right. So let me go back a second before we jump into KW Connect. I also want you to know there's a MAPS coaching section up here. So once you guys are done with Harry, Claudia, and I and our coaching program, when we say done, you guys always have the opportunity to be in coaching. But you see, the fact of the matter is that there are people out there that have been certified and have trained and have hours and hours and hours of one-on-one coaching experience. And so once you kind of get past us, or you are ready to elevate, I encourage everybody looking at MAPS coaching. Marketing. If you click on this sucker here, this will take you back to Connect, right? So Connect's our main education page. There's a lot of resources in it, but there's a marketing piece in here. We have all sorts of different things as far as KW offerings go. And then I'm going to show you another place that you can actually create your marketing through Command. Go back. Technology. So again, a lot of resources through the mykw.kw.com. I love this page because I can pretty much get to anything Keller Williams related through just this one website. So here's Command, here's the KW Marketplace, KW app resources. A lot of people's, what is that? What is that? So Keller Williams, we have a couple of different apps, but our main and most powerful app is our consumer facing app. So I would encourage you guys to walk through here and get your app going. Get your app started. Start sending it out to your friends and family. One of the best ways to get your friends and family to start using this app is to ask them to use the app and test it. So, hey, Harry, what's going on today, man? Hey, I'm so excited. I just made a transition into real estate. And one of the things that I love about what I'm doing is at Keller Williams, we have all this technology for homes and for resources. But one of the things that we have that I don't believe enough people have is our consumer facing app. Would you do me a favor, Harry, and download this app? Now, it's a newer app to me, and I'm still working on getting used to it. Would you kind of play with it a little bit and see what kind of flaws you can find and what kind of questions you have? Because any questions that you have is going to help my growth. Would you do that for me? And then Harry's going to say, yep, because he's one of my good friends. I'm going to text him over my app code, and we're going to get started. And he's going to play with it. And once you guys really dive into this, you'll see the power of that app. So go ahead and look through that. It's amazing. Go back. KWLS. So Keller Williams Listing Syndication. So what this guy is when we list a property online, we have the option to list it to KWLS. So KWLS is our listing services. What this does is this is what integrates all of our listings to basically the World Wide Web. Over 660 websites do our listings get hit with just because we're a part of Keller Williams. You can change your password, support and answers. I don't believe there's a lot of people or enough people that go to this page here. This page is amazing. Whenever I, as a coach, because I can't remember everything. Harry can't remember everything. Us as coaches, we need to know where to go to get resources. So if you got tech questions, pop them in here. If you don't know how to formulate your question, click on the thing that you're having questions around and start to dive in. Command, working with KWR, tech issues, access to Command, how do you change your password? They have so many resources in here around how to help and how to do things in all of our systems. It's amazing, you guys. All right, resources. Awards policy. This is cool because it kind of defines, like, no person. I love this company because we don't do sweetheart things. Just because Harry is really cool and awesome guy, he doesn't just get his luxury designation. He's got to work towards that. Just because Harry's an awesome and cool guy doesn't mean that every year I give him a platinum award. It has to go by production level. And so you'll find that in there. All right. So feel free to run through here. The other one that's kind of popular on this resource page is your profit share 1099s. So it's a tax document for a profit share. We're going to talk about profit share in a little bit, but I just wanted to go over this with you guys. I don't think enough people use mykw.kw.com. We're kind of used to going straight to command, or, you know, for those of you that use KW Connect, perfect. The last thing I want to show you guys on here, if you guys go to this reports, you guys can start to monitor yourself. I also like to show you guys this because I want you guys to analyze the people that you're trying to emulate. I want to say that again. I want you guys to look up the production levels of the people that you're trying to emulate. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there's a lot of people in real estate, not just KW, in real estate, that publicize and to the public look like they're doing an absolutely fantastic job. So like for me, whenever I have a new listing, I will post something on my social media that says, I just got a new listing. For that same house, I'll post something that says, I'm doing an open house. And for that same house, I'll post another one at the end of the sale and I'll say it closed. Well, for the people that follow me on Facebook, it's 3 different posts, but it's only one house. So people can really start to think that other people are crushing it and doing so much better than they actually are. So be careful with that. And you can look up agents' productions through here. So if you want to look up your production, you want to go up to reports, associate, agent, associate production lookup. Now this little thing that comes up, bear with it. Okay, it always takes some time to load. It's literally pulling all of this data for 170,000 agents worldwide. And so it just takes some time to find your stuff or the stuff that you're looking for. Any questions so far while this loads? Maybe. Well, let's come back to it. So the other thing that I wanted to show you guys or kind of hone in on is education or KW Connect. This is a massively, massively powerful website. And so since we're just getting started with Ignite, I want to show you guys where to get all of these Ignite materials. If you want to pay for Ignite materials, go ahead and purchase them. That's okay. I'm a big proponent of not paying for things. You guys are just getting started. You know, money's tight. Download it for free. That's all I do. I don't even buy them. Today we're on session 1. You can download the slides. You can download the slides through all of this. Here's the student handbook. This is like 500 pages. All right. So once this downloads, now we pretty much have and can look up anybody in all of our ecosystem. So Lindsay Anthus, she's an agent with us. Marie Aragon, she's an agent with us. So these are all our agents in our, well, in the Longmont office, since I'm associated with Longmont. And to look at the production, you would just click on, you can click on pretty much any of these, but closed transaction list and summary. You can go up here, over here to Colorado, and now I can look at Longmont, Loveland, and Northern Colorado. So let's look at Loveland or Longmont. Let's be able to double click. You can double click on it, and then you can go straight to your name, to another agent's name. I won't pick on anybody for the sake of the video. Maybe I'll just click on myself so you guys can see what it looks like. So what it's going to have all of your guys's closed, all of your guys's closed units, as well as all of your guys's referral fees. Yours might look a little different. I do a lot of referral fees since I'm getting out of production a little bit. But go through here, start to track. If you ever forget where you're at income wise, unit wise, GCI, all of those things, just come over here and just take a look at where you're at. That'll help you know your numbers. That'll help you track exactly what you're looking at doing for that year. Any questions on reports? I guess the other question that kind of comes up in reports is, where do I stack up to our market center? You can just play around with these things, but if you want to see where you stack up to our market center, you can go over here. You can go over to top associates, click on it. You have to fumble through for the sake of this video, because this thing downloads so long, we're not going to go through there, but I believe it's rankings and market center. Questions? Super cool. We're an open book company. You guys can look at all of the financials through the market center. You guys can see, a lot of people, when they first get into real estate, they start paying for all of their tools and all of their bills and their cap, and it really sucks to see that cap come out. Well, I can assure you guys that when you start to look at the books, your money goes places. It's not that the owner just sucks up all of that $18,000. When you look at our books, we run at a very thin margin, so that way we can keep more agents or more money in your pocket, but still be a successfully ran business, meaning you have 3 coaches you can reach out to. That's an unheard of thing with an $18,000 cap. You have multiple different agent services coordinators. You got Karen, who runs and helps out with the calendar and onboarding. If you need anybody that wants to go through real estate school, send them to Karen. That all costs a salary, right? We have Darby, who helps get everybody off the ground and running, onboards, recruits to our office for more agents to come in, to have more agents pay into our market center, to thus bring more profit share. I keep saying profit share. We're going to go over that in a little bit. But you guys want to see the market center numbers? Go for it. Go for it. I love Keller Williams because Keller Williams isn't money hungry. Yes, the owner makes some money, but half of the profits get pushed back to us agents. For every single agent that listening to this and on here, I have to encourage you guys to start looking at growing your downline or your profit share. I keep saying, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to wait until we get to that portion in Ignite. My profit share alone every year pays for my royalty and my office bill and some of my cap. Let me say that again. My profit share every year, pretty much like clockwork, pays for my $100 office bill, and it pays for my $3,000 royalty, and it also pays most of the time some of my cap. So it's almost $5,000 a year just to be at Keller Williams, just to share with people why I believe Keller Williams has the education platform, the mentorship program, and the coaching program to help people get off the ground and running. And when you can share that with other people, you don't have to do anything. Meaning, you don't have to coach people that you bring to Keller Williams. You ask them if they want to join. You ask them if they want to get their license. And once you get that commitment, you can send them to me. I'll help get them into your downline. You can send them to Karen to get the free real estate schooling that they can go through. There's no excuse for people not to get their license at this point, besides a little bit of startup costs. So if you're talking to people about getting into real estate, think back to yourself. What did you spend to get started? I always tell people you probably need about $3,000 to $5,000 worth of money to get started to make you last about that first 3 months. If you need to last 6 months or a year before you get your first deal, you may need to look at probably $5,000 to $10,000 worth of savings. But outside of that, it's the cheapest industry to start your business with no ceiling. It's been proven time and time again. Let me say that again. This industry is the cheapest self-started business and industry to ever walk the earth, with the potential of income that's unlimited. When people start to understand that and want to work hard towards it, they'll jump in. And that's how I've got people in my downline, just by talking with them about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and how I'm acquiring rental properties at such a young age, and the opportunities that I have to coach and sell, to sell, coach, and be part of leadership, to sell, coach, and travel the United States to teach. I would never be here with any other company. I always say I'm very pro Keller Williams, not rah, rah, rah. It's not a place for not everybody wants to train. Not everybody wants to public speak. Not everybody wants to be in leadership. Not everybody wants to, have culture or come together and share ideas. That's okay. There's other companies for that individual. But for myself and others, it's the cheapest place I've ever found to work with the most amount of resources that I've ever had to get my career off the ground and running. So KW Connect. We just looked at, our Ignite series. The one thing that I absolutely want you guys to make sure you guys know and go through is the 6 personal perspectives. All right. Just click on this course here. And again, you can always go to materials to download your materials. But this course is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And when I say take the course, you don't really have to actually take it with an instructor. You can if you find it somewhere, but it's gonna be about $100 to $125 to take the actual class. But download the student file right here. You don't have to download the front cover, the back cover. Right here's the file, and just read through it. So let's jump into it. All right. Any questions on KW resources? There's a few more we'll hit, but I want to get into the 6 personal perspectives too. Okay. All right. So let's start off with session 1, or it's the first part of 6 personal perspectives. Commit to self-mastery. All right, let's wrap our heads around this, okay? Like I said from the very beginning, this is one of the most powerful Ignite classes because this is all about getting our minds right. Now, I said that this has you maybe I didn't say this. Ignite is a class that's both what we call lecture and lab, or learning and implementation. So today we're going to learn a lot of things. And throughout the next week before session 2, you have to start to implement some of these things. And there's a reason why the 6 personal perspectives are the very first thing Ignite talks about. So you need to implement this. You need to study this. You need to go through. So the entire week from the moment this ends to next week, I want you to focus on anything but the 6 personal perspectives. Download that file, read through that packet. Obviously, you're going to do some other things like lead generation, maybe practice some command stuff. I get that there's more than just learning this, but for the next week, your sole focus is this. Know your goals. Know your goals. We've all heard the stat, right? Only 3% write down their goals. 97% of the population does not write down their goals. 3% do. And out of the 3% that do, 95% of them, 90%, almost 100% of the 3% that write down their goals hit their goals. The 97% of people that don't write down their goals, I think it's like 30% of them hit their goals. Because when you write down your goals, you know them better. You've seen them. You've thought through it. Your hand had to write it. Your hands had to type it, whatever it may be. When you actually need to write down a goal, it can solidify it. It can actually really make you pause and think, is this the goal I want? When you write down your goals, be careful for a couple of your hand ticks or your mind ticks. If you write down a goal and you hesitate, it means you're still thinking about it. Be careful. Don't write it down. Start to think about it. Analyze it. Why did I hesitate? Do I think this is unobtainable? Do I think that my goals are too weak? Do I think that my goals are too ambitious? There's some sort of hesitation that causes, or if you have a hesitation, that's some of what you're thinking. Stop, call a coach, and let's work through it. Let's see if there's a way that we can figure out if this is the right thing for you or not. Okay. Know your strengths and know your weaknesses. All right. I love this one because I think that in society, this is probably Bruce's opinion more than it is anybody else's. Well, yeah, just read section 3. I don't necessarily fully agree with this whole thing. Know how to work with both your strengths and weaknesses to seek and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. I agree with that, but I think we got to add a layer in there. So in my career, I've learned that if you focus on both or know both your strengths and weaknesses, that's great and all. But in society, we're told work on your weaknesses. So I have a little bit of a grammar deficiency, if you will. And in grade school, I was always told work on it, continue to read, continue to work on your grammar, continue to do da 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 da. Well, what all that effort and energy did was it allowed me to spell a little bit better. It allowed me to have a bigger vocabulary. It allowed me to read a little faster, but in very minute ways. So I was fortunate enough to go to college and had an RA who sat down with me and said, you know, I found that it's best to start to focus on your strengths, but keep your weaknesses at bay. And what he meant by that was if you focus on your strengths, you can make leaps and bounds because you're naturally gifted around those things. But if you focus on your weaknesses, you may only increase those weaknesses a slight bit because everybody has weaknesses and everybody has strengths, but strengths are the things that just click. So why not focus on them, make them very strong, strengthen your strengths to the point where they're impenetrable, and then work on your weaknesses. That was some information I got about 10 years ago and completely changed my life. I stopped reading so many books trying to work on my grammar and trying not to stutter and trying to spell things right to the point where I started taking advanced level physics and chemistry classes. And that's what caused Bruce to take leaps and bounds in his mind, in the world, in what I know, and who I am, and where I'm at today. Once I was able to strengthen all of my strengths, right? I love to help people. But you can help people, but you got to learn how to help people in the best way, shape, and form for them. So I studied that. I didn't just read a book to learn how to spell hippopotamus. So focus on your strengths, solidify them to the point where they're impenetrable, then work on some of your weaknesses. I have a big weakness in details. I hate tracking my numbers. I hate writing down my goals. I don't like having to create touch systems, but they're a necessary evil, right? I have to do them in order to be successful at this industry. But when did I do those things? I only started working on those things once I strengthened how I help people. Once I strengthened my lead generation systems and categories, then did I need the other piece. Then did I need to work on my weaknesses. So if you love spreadsheets and you love command and you love smart plans and all of those things, that's your strength. So go ahead and build that and then work on your lead generation. Because up here, it's going to be a little easier once you get past and strengthen your strengths. All right. Second piece, right? So that's, I'm sorry, let's recap. So that's commit to self mastery. You want to master everything that you have in your world. If you want to master door knocking, then you need to spend every ounce of your energy focused on that. If you want to master your mind, then every single thing that you do and read has to challenge your mind. Committing to self mastery is first and foremost. You got to know why you're doing what you're doing. Then the second 6 personal perspectives. Commit to the 80-20 principle. So the 80-20 principle, it's a guy by the name of Alfredo Pareto. He was a Italian philosopher, and he started studying everything around him, and he came up with this 80-20 principle. What he realized in the time that he lived was that 80% of the population in his town, 80% of the wealth in his town was only owned by 20% of the people in town. He also started realizing that those 20% that owned 80% of the wealth, those people only focused on their top 20% of what they needed to do for the community or for whatever their job was in order to create that wealth. Well, that also stems to real estate. 20% of your actions leads to 80% of your results. This is an anomaly for people. 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results. So if we have I know we're not going to really work. I don't want to promote 10-hour working days, but let's pretend that we work in 10-hour working days. The 20% of your actions is the 2 hours that you spend on lead generation or lead follow-up. The other 8 hours of the day do not produce your results. So the 2 hours of the day for lead generation and lead follow-up produce 80% of your income, 80% of your results. The other 80% of your actions only produce 20% of your results. So let me ask you, are you focused on your top 20%, such as lead generation and lead follow-up? Or do you spend too many hours, or will you spend too many hours entering in contacts, creating flyers, building call lists, listening to training videos? Be very mindful in your first beginning phases of your career to make sure that you're spending the time where time is due, and understand that we only have to spend about 2 hours a day on lead generation to present 80% of our income. The other 80% of our actions will produce some dollars, right? If you create flyers, you may get somebody that picks up your flyer and gives you a call. That's the other 80%, but the chances are so rare, you guys. So when I say commit to the 80-20 principle, here's where I want everybody to write this down. For all of you listening to this video, I want you to pause. I want you to go get a pen and paper, and I want you to write this down. Your 20% actions go a little deeper than what I just gave you an example around. Your 20% daily tasks are to lead generate. If you're not lead generating, you need to be lead following up. Once you go through lead follow-up, then you start to go on appointments. Once you're on appointments, you start to negotiate contracts. Once you negotiate contracts, you start to close deals. So those are your 5 jobs. That is a real estate agent. Those are your 5 things you must do every single day in order to produce 80% of your results. But most of us don't even have to deal with these 3 things all the time. Most of us don't have a closing today. So that job is done for today. If I don't have a closing today, I only have 4 jobs. Well, if I don't have anything under contract, I don't have a contract to negotiate. I only have 3 jobs. Even if I'm under contract, most days aren't deadline days. Most days are limbo days. So most days I still don't have to negotiate a contract. There again, if I'm not lead generating and lead following up, I probably don't have appointments to go on. So be careful with appointments. And the other thing with appointments are only during the time of the appointment. So one appointment for the day should not derail lead generation, lead follow-up, because that appointment isn't going to last for 8 hours. It's going to be maybe a couple of hours. So as you can see, out of the 5 jobs that we have to do every single day, most days we only have the opportunity to do lead generation, lead follow-up. And that's the 80-20 rule. Questions so far, ladies? Just shout them out. Shout them out. I appreciate you guys being on. Move from E to P. So the third of the 6 personal perspectives. All right, we briefly mentioned this. I talked about it a couple minutes back, and I said entrepreneurial to purposeful. Well, when my hand did that, I literally was thinking about this graph in my head. All right, so here's what happens. Let's look at the left side. When we become brand new real estate agents, I want you guys to think about yourselves as a very infant, newborn baby. All right, we are alive, right? You got your license and you're alive. You're kicking and floundering. There's all this stuff you got to learn. There's stuff you got to do. There's stuff you got to implement. There's other things you got to learn. There's other things you got to do. There's other things you got to. It's a never-ending battle when you first get started. So you're like a baby that was just born that's just waving their arms around and crying. if you started life like that and it was okay and you grew up, you're going to do the same in real estate. You're going to start over here. You're going to be flailing. You're going to be disappointed when mom doesn't feed you. You're going to be disappointed when you're too cold and you can't communicate. You're going to be disappointed when you're, I'll just say, you're going to be disappointed when you're constipated. You guys paint the picture here. When you first start in real estate, just being at a natural entrepreneurial state without any sort of focus creates disappointment. I'm disappointed in myself that it's been 3 weeks now and I still haven't been able to watch the Marty Miller videos. It's been 3 weeks or 3 months now and I still don't have a lead. It's because we're an infant. We're figuring out how to breathe. We're figuring out what the world looks like. So in order to breathe and in order to figure out the world works like, trust the system. So if you want to focus, if you really want to use this method, then today I said your first steps are to go through and analyze the 6 perspectives. So go do that. If you start to do that, you won't be so disappointed with your career. You won't be so disappointed with all the things that you need to do. Because once you focus on this, you'll start to realize there's action steps to take every day, one day at a time. And before you know it, all of that beginning stuff starts to go away. We start to walk. We start to run. We start to be able to talk to our parents. We start to be able to see the progression is there, but if you guys just have a baby that's born and don't take care of it, this is what happens. If you have a baby that's born and you focus on it and you tend to its needs and you tend to its place of being, then you start to see that baby might start walking before they're 1 year old. They might start talking because you've been working on their vocabulary. They might start catching a ball because you've worked on their motor skills more than most. You see, if you want to be the real estate agent that just takes off, learn how to walk like a baby. Learn how to focus, and then jump over to models. So models. We have a lead generation model. We have an open house model. Models are basically what I call the thing that we do. A model is what we follow to accomplish something. But the way in which we follow that model is our system. So if you notice, models first and then systems. There's a reason for it. It doesn't say systems and then models. And here's what happens as a real estate agent. If we start to get our focus, we start to understand, okay, I can do this. It's okay that I have a mountain of things to do. But every day I'm going to take one bite-sized step every day and I'm going to get through this. Once you get to that place, you got your focus. Once you have your focus, start learning what models you want to learn. For example, I got my focus. I'm in real estate. I know that I want to lead generate through open houses. Okay, now let's go find the model for an open house that I want to do. So I go online, how to do an open house. Go to KW Connect, how to hold an effective open house. Start finding people on YouTube that show you, gurus, any of those items, any of those people. And look at their model. Look at how they do it. How many signs do they put out? How many hours do they do the open house? When do they do the open house? That sort of thing, right? That's the model. Now the systems are different, right? So if I see there's a person out in Arizona that crushes open houses at a high level, and I take their 7-step model, now I need to implement it for Bruce. If I implement it for Bruce, then my systems are going to be different, right? Let me give you one example of a system that's different. The guy in Arizona says, use 15 signs. Well, I'm going to use 15 signs. So I'm following the model, but the system is different because he puts his open house signs at X, Y, and Z intersections. And I put my signs at my intersections, ABC intersections, just slightly different because I'm in a different world. Our communities, our subdivisions are different than in Arizona. So your systems are by the way in which you do it. So let's talk about a cold calling model. So people that want to circle prospect, all right, you have to learn a script. You have to learn how to find phone numbers and whatnot for a thing, and you start calling around you start circle prospecting, and you have a model of I need to talk to this many people in this amount of time to get this many appointments. So you follow that cold call model. Well, the system is what information page do I use to pull data? Do I have a headset or do I have my phone? Do I do it from the office or do I do it from my home? So you're accomplishing the same model, but the systems are in which are the ways in which you follow that model. So you have to learn the model first and then develop your systems. Do not develop your systems and try and fit them into a model. It won't work. This is where you will hear people say, learn the basics before you get creative, right? Don't get creative before you learn the basics. Here's a big eye opener for a lot of people. They want to do an open house flyer. They spend 3 and 4 hours on it. They have 4 different drafts for it. And before you know it, it's 4 hours and they got their first open house flyer down. And they want to do 100. So they go door knock 100 homes. And no one calls them. No one calls off the flyer. So what do? They go back and say, okay, it's got to be the design. It's got to be the design. I'm going to redesign my flyer. I'm going to redesign it. It's going to be super cool. I'm going to change. It's going to go from like a white shade to a dark mode. And I'm going to put this picture down here and I'm going to do and I'm going to spend another 3 hours on it. Then I'm going to go door knock another 100 homes. Dang, I didn't get one call. It's got to be my flyer. All right. I gotta figure out what other people are doing for their flyers. So now I'm gonna talk to all the agents in the office. What do you do? What do you use? How do you use it? Oh, did you use designs or did you use Canva? Oh, you do that way? You put the price on? I was told not to put the price on. All right, I'm gonna redesign it. All right, let's redesign it. I'm gonna go out and hit another 100 homes. And no one calls. No one calls me off of it. And now I'm thinking, man, what am I doing wrong? I've redesigned my flyer a couple times. I did what all the coaches said to do was mastermind with my peers. I tried different techniques. I'm not going to door knock anymore. This stuff isn't working. You see, that's putting a system in place of a model. That's trying to be creative before we understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. You see, that person that designs or spends 4 hours on that flyer, what they really should do, and this is where I encourage all of you guys, before you do something, bounce it off of one of our coaches. We have a contracts and buyer and seller presentation coach. So if you have questions about your buyer and seller presentation, don't spend hours and hours on it before you learn what should be in it. So call Claudia or whoever that coach is at the time that you're watching this. We have a lead generation coach, myself. If you want to go out and lead generate through open houses or through this system we're talking about where you want to create a flyer and go door knocking, give me a call because here's what you're going to hear. Doesn't matter what your flyer looks like, but you need a flyer. Don't spend more than a half an hour on a flyer because it's a waste of time. Did you know that if you go door knock on 100 doors with flyers and you don't talk to anybody, there's a less than 1% chance that you're going to get a call off that flyer. So when you go door knock, I need you to knock on the door. I need you to work on your script. I need you to be able to hand them that flyer at an impactful moment during your dialogue. Because when people call you based upon your flyer or based upon your activities, they're not going to call based upon the flyer. They're going to call you based upon your one-on-one interaction. So spend way less time on the flyer and spend way more time practicing your scripts, practicing how you're going to go up to that door and how you're going to intro, what you're going to talk about, how you're going to ask for business, and how you're going to end the conversation. You see, that's following a model and then a system. So again, anytime that you guys are looking at models, before you implement, and build your systems around it. Bounce it off of somebody who's done it before, who's done it successfully. Once you follow this method, all right, here's the other, I guess the other piece that I need to say. This E to P, this isn't just focus on real estate, learn all the models in real estate, work on all the systems in real estate, and you'll have the breakthroughs. Every single thing that you do in real estate has to follow this path. So let me give you an example. All right, this week is you got to set aside like weeks or days. This week is command week. All right, that's my focus. My focus is command. All right, now I want to make sure that I understand exactly what it is I need to learn in command this week. So my focus is command, and underneath my focus, I need to write down exactly what I need to look at and do. I want to learn more about designs, the opportunities, and the referral page. So those are my 3 command focal points for the week. Models. Okay. How am I going to do this? Why am I doing this? Why do I want to learn command? I want to learn command because I want to learn what opportunities are and how to do it. Oh my gosh, I need to learn smart plans. I need to learn how to build them. I also need to learn what to put in them, how to do them. Okay, so I've got my focus. I know exactly what I need to study this week. That model is, am I using command to only develop flyers? Am I using command to develop smart plans to keep in touch with my clients? What model am I going to use command in conjunction with? Because you can't just put contacts in command and call it good. You can't just develop one smart plan and put everybody on the same smart plan. You can't just go into the referral system one time, look at the map, and not do anything with the information you just got. So why am I using command? What am I trying to learn, and why am I trying to learn it? Once you have those 2 pieces and understanding around that, then you want to learn it. You want to go through, study it, and then start to see what your systems will be. So my smart plan, okay, so again, difference between model and a system. In command, I have a smart plan. That's a model. I have a smart plan for lead follow-up. That's a model. Liz has a smart plan in her command for lead follow-up. That's a model. But when Liz and I compare our smart plans, I call them 3 times in the first week, and she calls them 4 times in the first week. Who's right and who's wrong? Neither. What it is that's her system is to call 4 times in the first week. Mine is to call 3 times in the first week. We're still following a lead generation model, just a slight bit different. Through following those models, all of a sudden, Liz and I are going to find that we can capture internet leads because we've called them 10 times over 8 weeks. All right, that's E to P. Keep moving. Section 4, make being learning based the foundation of your action plan. You guys all know this. If you're frustrated with anything in the world, you need to learn it first and then do it. Right? So become learning based. Become learning based. I like this graph. Ignorance based. I know what I know and I'll ignore everything else. All right. If you're over there saying, well, I'm not a technology person, I'm not a social media person, I'm never going to get good at cold calling, I'm never going to be comfortable door knocking, I don't like networking events, I just like to email people, you're not being learning based. All right. You just know what you know, and you're just going to use that, and you're going to hope that that gets you by. Being learning based says, all right, real estate's new. I've never done it before. And anything that I've ever done in my entire life, I absolutely, without a 100% doubt, understand that there was a struggle at the beginning of that. And because there was a struggle, I know that I'm going to struggle when I first start in real estate. I know that when I was a kid, I had to learn how to ride a bike and I had some skin knees. I know that when I got my first job in high school or in college, it was weird having a boss versus a parent. It was weird seeing taxes being taken out of my first paycheck. Everything we do is weird, but every job we've ever had, first time I worked retail, first 2 weeks, nothing but training. The first time I went into a management position, nothing but following a store manager around. The first time I got into real estate, I was like all of you guys. I was encouraged to come to Ignite, to become learning based, to understand that I have so much more to learn, to grow, to be the best agent I can be for my clients. I am neither especially clever nor especially gifted. I am only very, very curious. Mr. Albert Einstein, one of my favorites. I am neither especially clever or especially gifted. I'm only very, very curious. I love this one because you guys have all seen this. You guys might be this person, but if you weren't this person, you guys saw this person. Think back to high school. Think back to the kid or the kids in class who just completely went all out in whatever sport they played. Those hustlers, the ones that when the coach said, "Hey, we need to run a warm-up lap," they can't help but be first. The person that constantly just hustles up and down the basketball court. Doesn't matter if they're on defense or offense, it's a full-on sprint for the ball. The aggressiveness is unreal. You see, those people are probably never especially clever or gifted. They're only very, very motivated. Albert Einstein says, "I'm very, very curious." I love that quote. I want you guys to be curious. I want you guys to be motivated. I want you guys to put more effort and energy into your career than all of your peers. I want you guys to brag about how much learning you've done. I want you to brag about how much lead generation you've done to others. Because the hustlers, they don't have to be clever or gifted. They just have to put in the work and they'll see the results. They'll start over the person that has a little bit more skill than they do. Number 5, remove your limiting beliefs. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Anytime you have a negative thought, I want you to correct yourself. Okay. I want you to change. I want you to instantly snap yourself out of it. So in bold, I don't have my bracelet on me right now, but in bold, they give us bracelets. And every time we have a negative thought in bold, you're supposed to take that bracelet and snap your wrist. And that's to change your mindset. It's to change the way you're thinking. There's a bold law that says change the way you look at things and the things you look at will change. All right, remove your limiting beliefs. Unlimit your thinking and you will unlimit your success, right? We have no ceiling of income in our world. There are agents in the Keller Williams ecosystem who make millions of dollars a year. Let me say that again. Who make millions of dollars a year not selling a house. There are people that have their real estate license in the Keller Williams ecosystem that make millions of dollars a year and they don't sell houses anymore. Now, if you can't fathom that, remove that thought. Right there, that thought that you just might have had where you thought, how's that even possible? What the hell is he talking about? I want you to remove it. And I want you to know it's 100% true. And I'll give you a couple of names to look up. Look up Robert Lucido and look up Ben Kinney. Look up Monica Reynolds. Look up, there's so many others out there. There's at least 20 or 30 in Keller Williams that make millions of dollars a year that don't sell a house. I don't have enough time for training. That's a horrible thought. I think the thought needs to be changed to, I have an opportunity to train more and I'm struggling with how. Who can I seek that gets more done in a day than I seem to be able to with a similar life that I have? So if you have 2 kids, find another agent who has 2 kids that's crushing it and ask them how they juggle it. Don't say, I don't have enough time for training. Say, somebody else has enough time for training. They did it. I need to find them. I can't be successful in this market. Interest rates are so high and the bottom's falling out and everybody's freaking out. I can't be successful in this market. No, there are successful people in this market, and I have to figure out how to find that person. Who's successful in this market, and how can I go pick their brain about what they do to get things done, and how can I get that same things done? I can't devote 3 hours a day to lead generation. Where can I find 3 hours in my day to devote to lead generation? And if I don't have 3 hours in the day to devote to lead generation, how do I get through more contacts during the times that I do? I can't devote 3 hours a day to lead generation, but can I devote 3 hours a day to lead generation in different spurts? Can I do 15 minutes here, half an hour here, an hour here, 15 minutes here, and a half an hour here? Remove them. They've got to leave. They have to. This world and this real estate game can get done very effectively, even after only a couple of hours a day. I assure you it can be done. Call me for a coaching session to show you how. Be accountable. Be accountable. All right. Don't be the victim. All right. If you guys have interacted with Bruce, and if you're watching this and have never interacted with me, you will understand very quickly that my patience, I have a ton of patience for people. Where I have zero patience is victim mentality, victimhood, right? If you're ignorant, I hate when people come to me, they've never had their license, they don't know what they're talking about, but they believe everything that they know to be true. They don't seek the actual reality of things. So let me give you guys a dose of reality. 90% of everything that we do is actually finding people to buy and sell homes. Only 10% of the activities we do is working through contracts. We are basically jobless every single day we go into the office, because 90% of our day is finding, or our year is finding people. Fights reality, denial. Scripts aren't for me. This isn't for me. Well, interest rates are up, so I can see where buyers are not wanting to buy a house. No, we're selling more houses today than we have in the last 5 years. Buyers are buying homes, and prices are going up. We saw the stats yesterday, right? The reality is that we can't live in the past. We can't live with one-sided thoughts. So please don't play the victim. Seek reality. What is the truth behind why my head's thinking that way? Knows reality, owns it, finds solutions, and gets it. Being accountable is taking charge to make change in your life, right? Being a victim is allowing every outside pressure to dictate your life. Well, I have 2 kids, so it's okay that I don't have time for real estate. I have another job, so it's okay that I don't have time for real estate. But I'm super frustrated. See, it doesn't make sense. That's a victim. Be accountable. Own everything that you do. Move forward sloppy, Mark says. My favorite mantra is fail often and fail forward. Break down and then break through. Victims don't break down. They blame everything on everybody else. Being accountable, people start to realize it's inside of us that's the problem. And then we need to break that down. We need to get down and dirty with ourselves to break through, and we'll hold ourselves accountable a little faster. Happiness is not an individual sport. Happiness is not an individual sport. This one took me a while when I was studying for Eric Knight class, because I believe, before I read this, I believe that happiness is an individual sport. I choose my happiness. But here's what Sean's trying to say. If you guys haven't read, it's a good book. It's called The Happiness Effect, I believe. Nope, that's not it. Happiness Advantage. Sorry. The Happiness Advantage by Sean Aker. Great, great, great book. So when I was reading and studying this Ignite thing, probably about 20 weeks ago now, since we're on round 2, I picked up this book, The Happiness Advantage by Sean Aker. I didn't understand what he meant by happiness is not an individual sport. Picture yourself being the only person in this entire world. You get to eat whatever you want to eat whenever you want to eat it. All you gotta do is go find it because the whole world is yours. You get to go swim wherever you want to swim. You get to go hike wherever you want to hike. You get to go do whatever you want on any piece of property, any time of the day, at any given moment, however you want. But you see, that individual will never be happy. Happiness is not an individual sport. What makes us happy is being in the world with other people. All right. So go through the 6 person perspectives. Understand that we're in a contact sport. We are in a sport in which we have to interact with the community. And through our community interactions, we can create a happiness. We can create this job to be something that you enjoy. Real estate became addictive and obsessive for me. Once I realized that I can use my real estate license to help people have some of the most emotional moments of their entire life, I fell in love with it. Because I was able to help people, it created my own internal happiness. I want you guys to think about that. What makes you happy? Because I know it's not being alone in this world. It comes from other people. Happiness comes from interactions. When I watch my favorite sporting event go down, creates happiness. I wouldn't be able to do it without those people on the field. So ask yourself, how do you feel most happy? Do you feel most happy when you're at networking events? Do you feel most happy when you're in a one-on-one relationship with your best friend? Do you feel most happy when you get out of the house and you go downtown and you just love the sights and the smells and the sounds of downtown? Do you feel most happy when you sit at home and you're online interacting with people through Discord and through Reddit and through email chains and through all those things? What type of person are you? Or I'm sorry, what type of happiness happens in your life that you want to see? Grab a hold of that and let's start making a real estate plan around that. I play soccer. I've been playing soccer all of my life. I have been with the same team now for 4 years. We play 2 seasons every single year, spring and fall. We've won the championship 3 times now. Hopefully for a 4th this Sunday. I'm pretty excited. But through doing something I love that creates happiness in my life, I've sold a couple of homes. I have a couple of leads from playing soccer. And I don't have to talk to them about real estate. All I did was sign up with my email through Keller Williams. And so everybody knows that I'm actually in a real estate world because of the email chains. Let me see what the woohoo, Liz, what do you mean? Talk to me.
Sorry, I had to unmute. I was just saying woohoo to almost your championship this coming weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not on subject, just telling you.
No, thank you so much. I'll share with you a little bit more because I'm very excited. Again, you guys create happiness. I don't care that I have to pause class for this statement. I have missed all of the championship games. We've won the championship 3 times, and I have never been in town during the championship. And this week will be the first time I'm actually able to play in the championship game. So I'm hoping we don't lose because of me. I'm excited.
Well, good luck.
Thanks. Any questions so far, guys?
Nope.
This is a 2-hour class, and we spent we got started late. So almost an hour on 6 perspectives, some resources. All right, this is very important. So if you have questions, just let me know. All right, let's get into KW culture. Like I said, Mark goes over this a lot in our team meetings, but there are a few things that we don't go over. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is the vision of Keller Williams that was just basically born over the last 5 years with all of the things that are going on in our world. Red Day. Red Day is our annual, once a year give back day that we basically shut down the offices. So on Red Day, this is I believe it's always around May 13th, I believe is the date. May 13th is a day that is one of our founders' birthdays. Her name is Mo Anderson. And Mo Anderson, they call her the Velvet Hammer. I've been told that if you are ever in a room with Mo Anderson, she is the sweetest lady on the face of this earth. But you will never, ever, ever get in her way. She's called the Velvet Hammer, and she does everything with such poise and such posture. This is Mo Anderson. She's an incredible speaker and a mentor. She is huge in the community of Keller Williams. She's way up there. She's basically Gary Keller and her run the company. She gives back. Her big thing is community. She wrote a book called The Joy-Filled Life. This lady is 1000% amazing. 1000% amazing. Anyways, on her birthday, she said, if I'm going to stay a part of this company, on my birthday, the best thing that this company could give back to me is a day that I can see everybody give back. And that's what Red Day is. Where the heck is my phone? KW Cares. KW Cares. So on every any time of the day, you guys have the option to donate to KW Cares. A lot of agents, what they do is they'll donate 25, 50 bucks, 100 bucks of each check. So each closing that they do to KW Cares. I think I have mine set up for 25 bucks a check. So through all of those closings, I donate 25 bucks, and a bunch of people worldwide do the same thing. If you guys ever need just a tax write-off, or your tax advisor says you want to donate, I believe KW Cares is a great option. Obviously, it's not mandatory, but it's a great option for you. What they do, and what you'll see on KW Facebook pages right now, if you guys aren't in them, is the hurricane that just went through Florida. I think there's over 5,000 Keller Williams agents that flew down to Florida to help Keller Williams offices and agents clean up their homes, clean up the streets, get people back into their homes as fast as possible. There's people that are working through homes that were for sale that got destroyed in that. So this KW Cares is that company that kind of gets everybody together for those types of catastrophic events. But also what this company does is, let's say there's somebody in Florida, an agent of ours, that has their home pretty much flooded and wiped out. Through those donations, they'll actually pay to furnish for that home. At our Longmont office, just about 7 years ago, we had an agent whose house burnt down in an electrical fire from some, I think it was like some Christmas lights. House burnt down. Brand new agent. She wasn't even with us for a year. And see, Liz, she wasn't even with us for a year. And that agent got her entire house paid for to be rebuilt through KW Cares. It's like super powerful. It's actually, that was the one moment that I realized that KW Cares is not just for major catastrophic events. KW Cares legitimately is for the individual agent. And from that day forward, I started donating 25 bucks in my check every time. Wealth building, profit share. I said we were going to talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. KW Kids Can. KW Kids Can, it's kind of like KW Cares, but it's geared towards the development of kids in poverty. KW Wellness is basically a health and wellness kind of plan and a division of Keller Williams that kind of helps people with their mindset. Culture, we always go over that, MVPP, all in our team meetings. Red Relief, kind of in conjunction with KW Cares and Red Relief. So I guess I probably misspoke. Red Relief is the ones where that kind of helps organize the people to get to Florida. KW Cares is the money that helps Red Relief accomplish what they need to do in Florida. And then the KW Family Fund. KW Family Fund. Sometimes we get into hardships. Sometimes we get into places of a bind. This is kind of like a scholarship to get you off your feet before you file for bankruptcy. It's not something that I encourage everybody to use, but we care for people that are struggling, especially the ones that are putting in all the effort and work. MVVP, mission, values, mission, vision, values, and beliefs and perspectives. Again, we go over this all the time in our team meetings. Please join us on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. You'll hear this all the time. Same with our Y4C2Ts. We just talked about these guys. KW value, MC value. Like I said, I think a couple steps back. You guys, we run on very thin margins to be able to give back in the form of profit share. Our owners, yes, they receive some profit, but it's not what they live off of. Most of all Keller Williams owners are still agents, because owning a franchise, they do it out of a lot of the goodness of their heart. They do it out of the leadership spirit that they have inside of them, and they also do it to watch agents grow, to have a place that causes agents to grow, just like that person probably has grown or had the opportunity to grow through. We are the largest global real estate franchise in the entire world. We're the top franchise for veterans. I don't know if you guys know this, but one of the things about Keller Williams and our training programs is it helps all individuals who have limiting mindsets, who have limiting beliefs, who have trust troubles in life, who have those things. So we are one of the top franchises for veterans, because veterans are able to come into our real estate sector and find a sense of community again that they might have once lost, or they might envy from their deployment time, from their time in the service, from their time in the military. Top female friendly company. You guys, we absolutely, our founder, Gary Keller, is a big proponent on making sure that this is a place for all. Making sure that it's a place for all. Statistics say that both male and female, their choice is Keller Williams as far as a place to work, when they either have their license or maybe they don't anymore. We're the top 500 franchises in 2022. That's a phenomenal stat. With as many franchises that are out there, most franchises, the bigger they get, the less margin there is. We're in the top 500 because of the way our founder has developed the franchises to be able to give back to the agents. That gives back to Keller Williams International. Our guy, our gentleman, Gary Keller, he could be making a ton more money than he makes off of us. A ton more, right? 50% of all profit goes back to the agents. What kind of company does that? $3,000 that we have goes towards what we call royalty. Only $3,000 goes back to international, but it doesn't even go to Gary Keller. We pay our region out of that. A portion of that goes to Keller Williams International to pay for the offices and buildings and the personnel. And then the remaining part of that $3,000 goes to the ownership group and Gary Keller. So as you can see, we run on thin margins, but Gary Keller knows he's not in it for the money. He just so happened to be the first real estate billionaire. But that wasn't his goal. His goal was to make and create a real estate franchise that the entire world would want to go to. And that's why we're in the top 500. So on and so forth. We just got done talking about Command and Connect. I guess we didn't go to Connect Live, so let's look at that for a sec. Where is it at? Oops. I don't know if there's anything going on right now. Yeah, there was a today's market update, October 19th, down in Florida. There's always something going on. KW Connect Live is super powerful. I'm trying to get to the page though. No, somebody else's market center. All right, well, this is the page. Got a problem with my live stream. So I guess just type in KW Connect Live. So the kw.com /page/future -live. Anyways, there's something pretty much always going on, especially in the mornings at KW International, trying to tell us exactly what they're doing, what they're working on, how they're doing it. So again, going back to kind of what we talked about, being learning based, going through the 6-person perspectives, be very curious about what your company's doing. If you're with us, you need to know what's going on. Use these resources. Okay. Let's go through a couple. Family reunion is a once a year training. A once a year seminar that we do like clockwork. It's always in February. And what it is it's the largest Keller Williams training and seminar event that we do every year. There's almost 40 to 50,000 real estate agents there worldwide. Gary Keller talks. He has economists come in and talk about where the future of the economy is headed and why that relates to real estate. We have breakout sessions. All of those multi-million-dollar producers that I mentioned, Ben Kinney, Robert Lucido, Monica Reynolds, they all teach and train at these events. Every year I get to meet all new sorts of referral partners in and around the United States. I get to hang out with all of my peers, everybody that comes from the Longmont and Fort Collins office. We all get rooms close together. We all go to dinner together. We all communicate and we all converse. It's an amazing piece. It does cost about $800 a year for the seminar. You got your room and then your plane ticket. So it's a pretty penny. It's about $3 grand, $3 to $4 grand is what I usually spend. But here's what it is it's a 100% tax write-off. So once you start to get going in business and once you start to have some income come in, if you want to follow the model, follow the 30% model. Every check you get, 30% goes back into your business. So if you close one home and you have $3 grand that comes back into your business, take $1,000 of that and save it for family reunion. I promise you it's worth your time. Most likely you'll learn so much at family reunion that you can't help but do more deals the next year to pay for family reunion again and again and again. Mega Camp. Mega Camp is a little bit more intimate, very similar to family reunion. Happens once a year, and during that year, during that seminar, what they really focus on is mega producers. So if you're a brand new agent and you haven't even sold a house, but you want to learn how to sell 20, 30 homes, that's where you go to learn that. Mega Camp is only mega agents teaching every type of agent, brand new agent, solo agent, teams, you name it. But Mega Camp is where the mega agents teach everything. Family reunion, kind of a mix. You got Keller Williams leaders and mega agents teaching. Mega Camp, pretty much all mega agents teaching. Ignite, you're going through it. Welcome. Command training, KW University and enablement. Command trading, right? We just went through there. Find it. It's in, just type it in. All you gotta do is Google this stuff, you guys. KWU enablement, command training. You'll find it. Bold. Bold is a class that is, I would say, Ignite on steroids is what you're gonna hear a lot of people call it. In Ignite, we talk about 10 contacts a day or 50 a week. Bold, instantly jump to 50 or 100 a week. If you guys have questions about any of that, let us know. Command. We didn't go through this a ton. Again, for the Ignite series or the Ignite progression, I want to kind of get through this, you guys. But command looks like this. Here's the interface. And the way that I teach people how to learn about command is not going to be through Ignite. Command is technology. And so this is where I use the example. I'm the coach and trainer of your world right now. So is Harry and so is Claudia. You see, if you were in a basketball court and you're in a basketball court and we have practice today, I'm going to train you on what we're doing. We're going to implement it and we're going to do it. But if you come to me and say, hey, coach, the basketball is flat. We need new ones. We need new jerseys. The scoreboard's broken. The coach isn't going to go fix the scoreboard and the coach isn't going to go pump up the balls. Who's going to do it? The equipment manager. So on that lines of analogy, when it comes down to command training, you have about 3 or 4 different options. We have a regional tech trainer. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to give out the name and information of tech trainer because it could change, right? People change. I'm not going to be a real estate, or I'm not going to be the productivity coach the rest of my life. You're not going to sell real estate the rest of your life. And our tech trainer will change. So reach out if you need the tech trainer's information because they do classes all the time on command. The other way to find and train on command, one of my favorites, is Scott Leroy Marketing through YouTube. So go to YouTube, go to Scott Leroy. Might as well subscribe to him. I highly recommend that. Jump on here and type in command, smart plans. Like I said, Ignite's 2 hours long. To talk to you guys all about smart plans takes 1 hour and 12 minutes. I apologize, I'm sending you guys to videos to learn more stuff. But when you're on your free time, Scott Leroy Marketing is perfect. If you want to do it in person live with somebody, get with one of the coaches. We'll get you the tech coordinator's information or the equipment manager's information. We talked about the app. Oh no, we talked about the consumer facing app, the search app. Command also has an app for your phone. Download it. It's on both platforms, Android and iPhone. We talked about that app. That's the consumer facing app. Market center value. So we go over this a lot. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Mark every single week goes through our missions, values. Mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. We talked about Red Days. We talked about KW Cares. Our leadership team, right? Get to know them. We have an online roster on the NoCo portal that talks all about our leadership. Get into the office, ask questions. Meet people. You're going to run into these folks all the time. ALC members, there's walls in both the Fort Collins office and the Longmont office that have all the pictures of the ALC members and their names. Take them out to coffee. They'd be happy to sit down with you and kind of share their story. Passive income. All right, profit share. Profit share, profit share. So this sounds super good to be true. And I think that's why people don't focus on this enough. I think it's because it's very little money up front, but in the long run, that effort goes a long way. So profit share or passive income in real estate in Keller Williams, there's no financial risk, there's no legal risk, and there's no down payment, and there's no phone calls. So what do we mean by that? So at Keller Williams, we have the opportunity to help another individual who wants to become an agent at Keller Williams come into our world. And so Jackie's on our call today, and we use Jackie as an example. Jackie, there's two setups. You don't have to interact with me. Let's say Jackie's another agent at another company. She already has her license. And she decides to come over to Keller Williams because I have talked to her about it. She signs up with our office under what we call a sponsorship agreement. So here's a little myth that I want to dispel. Whether or not you know a Keller Williams agent or not, anybody who signs up on the Keller Williams has to be put in the profit share tree. So Jackie would have to designate at least another licensee's name that works for Keller Williams underneath her sponsorship agreement. You cannot sign up with Keller Williams unless you name a sponsor. Now that sponsor is somebody who you just write down their name. That's the person who got to talk to you about Keller Williams. That's all their job is. So when it says no phone calls, you don't have to train and mentor and coach your downline people. So if I bring Jackie in, now I'm a coach, so it's a little different story, but let's say I'm just an agent. If I bring Jackie in, Jackie can call me and I'm going to answer her questions because I'm a big believer in our KW culture. But I don't have to call Jackie. I don't have to mentor her. I don't have to reach out to her. I have to push her to the coaching program, push her to the leadership that's in our office, push her to the resources that we have. People in your downline are not your responsibility, but talking with those individuals and getting them over here could cause them to be in your downline. There's no financial risk. You don't have to pay them. When Jackie closes a deal, she doesn't pay more out of her commissions to get me or to pay me. What happens is we share in the profits. So let me break this down for you guys. When Jackie closes a deal and she pays her KW office cap, when she pays her office cap, a portion of that goes to just the office income. Then the office cuts out all of their expenses. And then at the end of the month, what's left over is profit, right? Business 101. Well, at Keller Williams, we split profit into the profit share pool as well as the ownership group. On average, profit shares paid out 52% to the ownership group. Congratulations, they get a little bit more of the pie because they've taken the financial risk. 48% of the profit goes back to the profit share pool. And so if Jackie contributes to the office market center dollar and the market center that month makes profit, I'm going to receive a portion of that profit that Jackie poured into the office just for me to have introduced her to real estate. So every month or every year, like clockwork, I receive about $4,000 to $5,000 in profit share. I have about only six agents now in my downline. So out of 6 agents, they're roughly worth just under $1,000 to me. They don't have to be in your market center. So Jackie could sign up. I'm in the Longmont Market Center. She could sign up in New Mexico. It doesn't matter, but the profit share that I would receive comes from the New Mexico Market Center and not the Longmont Market Center, because that's where she's paying into the market center fees. If you guys have questions around profit share, there's a whole 4-hour class on it, an 8-hour class on it. That's just it in a nutshell. But by introducing to Keller Williams, you can have things paid for. $5,000 a year. I don't even think about my $3,000 royalty, because through Keller Williams, they basically pay for it. $100 a month fee, paid for. If you guys have questions, let me know. It's one of Bruce's next phases of emphasis. All right. I put emphasis on growing my downline up to about the place that it's at. I kind of put a pause on that, becoming a coach and learning all of these things. But now I need to get, I'm very excited where we're headed. All right. We're heading into a market shift. This is going to be a very bad time for a lot of agents, and it's going to be a very good time for a lot of agents. I believe that the good times for agents come from companies like Keller Williams that have training programs to get us into the shift. That being said, there's going to be an influx of agents that come to Keller Williams just simply for the training. And because of that, I'm going to capture that and I'm going to get in front of those agents and receive that profit share through their sponsorship. And I encourage you guys to do the same. KW resources, we definitely went over some of them, but here's some others, okay? We have Keller Williams, which is the brokerage that you're with, is a Keller Williams franchise. Then we have Keller Williams Worldwide. Those are franchises in other countries. We have Keller Mortgage, based out of Ohio. Keller Manage, property management. Keller Covered, property insurance. Keller Offers. Our state in Colorado, we don't have a lot of these because of Colorado state law. So that's the reason why our ownership group has taken upon themselves to have an in-house lender, Grant and Chris. We have an in-house insurance company, Marcus Hoke with Goosehead. Keller Manage, we don't have that. We've had a property management company before, and it's not great to run. There's a lot of liabilities around it, and our ownership group has decided not to have an in-house property management company. However, I know of somebody who runs an in-house Keller Williams property management company in Colorado and will take any and all leads in Northern Colorado. Just hit me up. Keller Offers. We are not going to do that in Colorado. That's a legal nightmare. And so to combat that, what we have in our office, we have our resources right here in our NoCo Empire portal. So talking about resources and talking about some of the things that Keller has that we can't use, I want you to go into nocoagentportal.com, go to existing users. I want you to scroll down. Here's some resources for calendars and trainings, but here's your agent services. Here's insurance. Here's the loan. Here is the iBuyer and iSeller. So the KW, we just talked about the Keller Offers. This is our Keller Offers, KW Select Move. We also have transaction management system or company. We have a home solutions repair company. So you need a toilet fix, you need some inspection items done, you need to spruce up the home before listing. We have contractors that are willing to work with our agents. We also have an Empire Investment Fund. We have a fund at our office that allows agents to put in money into a retirement pool that our owner uses that money to go invest in properties to make profits for you. Well, he's going to make profits for himself too, but just to basically be able to help you grow your real estate career. I mean, we are at a company and a franchise that I can't applaud enough. We have an owner that cares so much about your retirement, understands that in real estate, it's very hard to save for retirement. It's also very scary to own a bunch of rental properties. So our owner allows us to pay in to basically have him help us grow our retirement without even really lifting a finger, but we pay a little bit of money for it. All sorts of resources. Use this website, use this link. KW Communities, we have different divisions that you can become a part of. I talked about diversity and inclusion. Keller Williams Commercial, if you want to become a commercial agent, commercial division, there's commercial training, there's commercial designation that we have. It's awesome. Not a lot of other residential real estate companies have a commercial division for training and designation. KW Land, right? If you've been a real estate agent for a little bit now, but you haven't done a big, 100, 200, 500 acre parcel with multiple, water rights and well rights and land uses, it can be very expansive, very different. So we have a division for that and agents that are specialized in that, so on and so forth. If you have questions about any one of those, I'm very interested in any one of those, get with one of the coaches, get with somebody in leadership, and we'll get you those resources. Career vision. All right, this is where I think we pretty much are at the end. We're close to the end. Your vision for the future, your vision for today. I want you guys to think 1 year from now. I want you to think about your business just absolutely being absolutely where you want it to be. What does that look like? How many closings do you have? How much money do you have in the bank? What clients are you working with? How much service are you providing? I want you guys to think about where you're going to be at 1 year from now. You see, Gary Keller says it all the time. We overestimate what we can do in 1 year, but highly underestimate where we can be in 5 years. So be realistic with yourself. Where do you see yourself in 1 year from now? Do you understand what it takes to be a successful agent? What is success to you? Do you believe in closing 50 houses your first year, or do you believe in closing 2? Choice is yours. It's all been done before. But knowing where you're headed will help you get up every day and stay invigorated with this new career. Your big life. All right. We all have income thresholds. We all have income thresholds. And we also all have wild dreams and ambitions and goals in our life, right? Who wants to buy their kids a home? Who wants to pay for their kids' college? Who wants to buy their parents' home? Who wants to help their parents with a medical bill? Who wants to buy their nephew a not a new car, but a car so he can get to work, to and from work? Who wants to be able to take off a month out of the year to travel to Africa to give back to a community? Who wants to make so much money they invest so much money that they can't help but receive just money as passive income every month, that they can live on an island somewhere and not have to worry about anything in life? We all have those things in our minds, and real estate can fund those, but we gotta know them. We gotta put them down. So I encourage you guys to get out a blank piece of paper. So write a circle in here, and every time you think of something, draw a line, write it out. Draw another line, write it out. You can have more than 5 things, right? You can have 20, 30, 50 things on here. Add up all of that money and look at what number you really want to obtain. Might not be your first year goal, might not be your second year goal, but could you accomplish that in 3 years? Could you accomplish that in 5 years? Knowing where you want to head and seeing that number all the time, put it on your wall, put it on your board, put it on your background in your computer. Knowing how much money you need to make over the next 5 years will help you make that money. Just seeing it every day will ring home, I promise. To achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it, which is your big why. To achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it. My name is Bruce Carley. I hate lead generation. I hate open houses. I hate door knocking. I hate cold calling. I also hate cleaning my bathrooms. I don't like doing laundry. I'll do yard work, but don't make me dust the TV stand. Do I do yard work, clean the TV stand, scrub my toilets? Absolutely. It's a necessary evil. So lead generation is our necessary evil. And you're never, ever, ever going to get up and just do it every day. You have to have something stronger, a better reason in your mind to do lead generation. To achieve success, you need the motivation and inspiration for doing it. Your inspiration and motivation comes from why you do what you do. Detailing out exactly how much money you need for all the things you want to do in life causes you to start to feel emotions. Emotions make people act. Right? In this industry, as a coach, it's tough sometimes. People will join with me and they will be very invigorated. They have a couple $1,000s of savings and they'll want to do it and they'll want to crush it. And what do I see them do every day? They go to trainings and they learn. They sit around at the coffee pot and BS with other agents. They go home and tell themselves, hey, when I get home, I'm going to spend 3 hours lead generating. And next thing you know, it's 6, 7 o'clock at night. They made 3 phone calls and they stumbled across some things on Facebook and they started messaging some people. That cycle repeats for a couple of weeks into a couple of months. And now that couple $1,000s that they had saved is down to almost nothing. Now they're motivated and inspired in the wrong way. Now they have to get up every morning. Now they have to go and lead generate 3 to 4 hours a day because they're going to lose their house. They're going to get behind on bills. You see, we don't want to get to that place. We don't want to be motivated and inspired by a lack. We want to be motivated and inspired for what we want to accomplish in life. So start thinking about that. Get that down now. This is Ignite Day 1. You are in control of this guy. I'm not. Jackie's not, Harry's not, leadership's not, Kelly Williams isn't, your dog isn't, your spouse isn't, and your kids aren't. Nobody knows what motivates you or inspires you better than yourself. So dig deep. Like Sean Aker says, find your happiness, but it's not an alone sport. Figure out what makes you happy, what makes you tick. Figure out how much money you want to make and how many things what you want to do with it. And that will start to help you draw out your motivation. It will start to help you get up. When my alarm goes off every morning, my feet hit the floor and I know exactly what I need to do. Not task-wise that day. I know exactly what I need to do to head where I want to be. I need to get to the office on time. I need to eat healthy. I need to eat right. I need to exercise. I need to have a routine. I need to go to bed early. I need to wake up early. I need to give myself enough time to get to the office. I want to prepare for trainings. I want to prepare for my lead generation time. I want to prepare for one-on-ones. Because I know if I do that and I walk that walk and talk that talk, I'm going to hit my goals. I'm going to hit my goals, and my goals will become reality. And every time I make another milestone, I can feel the success. I can feel the inspiration come back. I can feel the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. All right, so sit down with yourself. Big, big, big portion of this. Ignite day 1. We got Ignite session 2 next week. And between now and then, you have to start to draw on some of these things. You have to start implementing these things. I also did not say you have to find your big why in 1 week. You might, but the chances are it's going to take some time up here in your thoughts by yourself. All right, let's get into some monies. All right, where do my commission dollars go? All right. Commission dollars, they're split between the buyer agent and the seller's agent. Our market center takes their cap and royalty of 36%. You need to save back some money for business expenses. And then whatever's left, you want to take out your tax bracket, and then that's what you take home. So I think there's an example here. Yep. So I have a net income goal of 100,000. Company dollar and royalty cap. In this example, they use 30,000. In our region, we're at 21,000. Business expenses, $50,000. So this person is using a 50% ratio. Or I'm sorry, they're not. So if they're going to do $50,000 in expenses and $30,000 in capital royalty, then that means they need to bring home, or not bring home, but they need to bring in form commissions 180,000. If the average commission is $9,000 on each check, 9 divided by 180 is 20 deals. That's how you guys want to start thinking about your goals and your reasons why. We're in October right now. We're doing all of these business planning sessions and clinics. Pay attention. Let's get in with the office. We're doing multiple business planning sessions to go over all of this, so we won't do it for the sake of Ignite. Your turn. Go through and do this math. So homework between now and next week. Figure this out. All right. The last part of Ignite, and we're off. Our daily success system. Like I said, 10 conversations a day. 10 contacts added to command. All right, be careful getting yourself off on the wrong foot in this real estate world. Don't have 200 contacts in your phone and try and add them all to command in one day. 10 a day. And in about 20 days, you'll have all of your contacts done. Don't set aside one day. You need to lead generate. You need to add contacts in. You need to do 10 handwritten notes. Now, 10 handwritten notes, that's a lot. I got to be honest with you. That's a ton when you first start in real estate. So maybe it's a typed up note, your transition to real estate. Send out 10 of those a day. Could be in the form of email, text, DM, or mailer. So 10 of those types of announcements a day when you first get started. 10-5-1 social media. 10 likes. There's a whole social media Ignite session. We're not going to get into it, but this says 10 likes, 10 comments, and 1 direct message. Enrichments. Keep going. Read books that you want to read. Play with your dog at times. Enrich your life. If you want to learn about investing in real estate, start reading those books. Start going to those seminars. Enrich your mind. Enrich your growth. Enrich what you want to do. You see, the more you focus on stuff that you want to do, the more happiness you're going to bring into your world. The more happiness you bring into your world, the more your mind is going to be open to possibilities. The more your mind's open to possibilities, the more your limited beliefs stay down. The more your limited beliefs stay down, the more you're open to learning, the more you're open to receiving, the more you're open to understanding first before you want to be understood. Enrich your lives. All right. Do not call. All right, we're done, guys. Do not call. If they're on the do not call list, do not call them. Okay, there's big violation, big fine. Obviously, this is just some of what you guys got to do. So every week we got to learn and we got to practice. All right, lead generate, practice that, practice those scripts. Learn how to draw up motivations. We're going to talk about that in upcoming classes. We do that in scripts all the time, so on and so forth. Let's see here. I think we found everything. Sphere, we'll get into that in another one. All right. We are done, you guys. We'll talk some of those things that you guys just saw in a blimp there. I like to save for another Ignite series. Those they're solely dedicated to some of those topics. So hope everyone has a great one. Jackie, we'll see you soon. Thanks for being on. Ignite
Thanks, Brooke.
session 2 coming up.